Welcome back. Thought I'd do a quick update on the black Urban Express. As you can see, I've got the stator off and I'm in the process of replacing the right crankshaft seal. And I plan on doing the same thing with the left side. I'm just either going to bend a screwdriver or get I think a paint can lid remover. It's kind of like a little key. Anyhow, either of those two things will apparently make getting the seal out of there easier, and it's probably the seals on these Honda Expresses, Urban Express and the Express, are really small, whereas on like the QT50 they're big enough where you can like drill a hole in them and then put a screw in it and pull it out, and these smaller ones you can't really do that. It'd be a small screw anyways. And I've also installed I don't even know how to pronounce it, the Boysen or the Boysen. I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me. We'll just say Boysen to make life easy. Reeds. And so I replaced the stock reeds with these. They're not going to add any speed. I think they'll give you a little better throttle response. And I've also installed a new battery. I bought one of these gel batteries off of eBay for $17.40 shipped. Now the Urban Express Deluxe battery is bigger than the Urban Express battery because, among other things, or it may be the only extra thing, it's got the electric start. And with the new battery, the electric start works. And this battery has a little monitor, a little digital readout on it, where I guess I might as well show you. Which allows you to monitor the status of the battery, which is kind of cool. So, let's see if we can come on up here. So there's my little screen, and if I push this, it's telling me I've got a full charge and we're currently pushing 12.6 volts. So I thought that was kind of cool. Anyways. What else? Oh, let's go to the other side. So on this Variator, I'm currently, I was at, I think I had 27 grams in it. And basically what was happening was, there's like right around 20 miles an hour, there's like a hump where it's almost like it's switching gears, which really doesn't make much sense because it's this CVT belt drive transmission. So you would think it would be smooth and you wouldn't notice any sort of shifting at all. But really around 20 miles an hour, it feels like it's shifting gears. And on some bikes it does it better than others. And on this one with 27 grams and basically a stock bike with the BX31 belt, it would just kind of hang up at right around 20 miles an hour. Unless you were going downhill. Unless you had gravity helping you basically move that belt up the Variator. it wasn't going to really do it by itself. So I think the problem is, and I could be wrong, I don't have enough weight in the Variator. So I went from 27 grams to 33 grams, and I'll get a chance to test that out later. But I'm thinking that might do the trick. And then down here you see the condition of the exhaust, pretty rough. So it's getting a little bit warmer. I think it's going to be in the 50s tomorrow and early in the week. So maybe tomorrow I'm going to sand that down and paint it black. Although I've got to drill out one of the screws in that little muffler guard cover thing because it's just so rusted. I couldn't get it out with a screwdriver without it just disintegrating on me. But I've drilled out God knows how many screws and bolts and whatever else. It just comes with the territory. So seals, battery, reeds, variator belt. I also decided to go back to the stock carb and the airbox, and because it's so much quieter. For some reason, the other carb and the airbox that I was experimenting with were just super loud, especially when it just hangs up at 20 miles an hour and won't shift. So I did that. And then one of the reasons I decided, I knew I was going to change the crankshaft seals, but what convinced me even more to do it was putting back the stock carb with the auto choke. When you first started up, I had the throttle stop screw set, so it was the rear wheel was barely turning, after it warms up. But when you first started up with the auto choke, I assume, I'm not exactly sure how the auto choke works, but I guess chokes work different ways. Anyhow, while the auto choke is on, the rear wheel spins very fast. And so I'm thinking that those crankshaft seals are bad and they're letting air into the combustion chamber. So the combination of the choke giving it more gas, if that's what's happening, and more air makes the rear wheel spin like crazy. And then when it finally warms up, the rear easy for me to say, the rear wheel stops spinning. But I'm thinking it needs new crankshaft seals, and it probably needs them anyway, so I'm doing that. And there you have it. That was hard to get out. And also, I didn't show it on video, but I did this. I should have put it on video. You've got your final gear, your transmission back here, and this is the fill plug, and this is the drain plug. And it only holds a tiny bit of 80-90 weight gear oil. And I went ahead and changed that out. I have a little pump that you can hook to an oil bottle, and I just drained it out and pumped the new oil in. And if you have too much, you just let it drain out of the fill bolt until it stops draining, and then you cap it off. So it's kind of idiot proof. So that was just a little maintenance item that is easy to do and probably gets overlooked. So anything else? I've got a new piston and rings on the way, and there you have it. I think that's about it for this update on that bike. Now if we go over here to the Iowa Urban Express, I was on Moped Army, and there's these two guys that are brothers, the Cox brothers, and this is their custom quiet airbox solution for the Urban Express. Now they mount theirs on the bottom of the rear shock. I mounted it on the top just because, you know. And this thing, it's got a big old cartridge air filter on it, and I connected it to this clone SHA, or this SHA clone carb with these, I don't know, they're like turbo elbow hose things that I found on eBay, and some hose clamps. And this is their custom quiet air box, because it really does quiet things down substantially. And they told me that I should mount it with this intake pointing down, and it'll be even quieter, probably because you don't hear the noises shooting down. So I'll turn it and do that. Or what the hell, while we're here, you can... The main reason this thing is so quiet is it's got this enormous cartridge air filter. I mean, what a beast. So that's absorbing a lot of the noise from the or most of the noise from the intake, and it just fits right in there. And then this is made for like some sort of commercial mower. $45 shipped on eBay. But you know, when you start modifying, did that do it? You know, adding exhaust and stuff, loud exhaust, and you know, bigger top ends, these things get pretty noisy. And I'd like to, you know, not piss off all my neighbors, especially, you know, if you ride it at night. So this is one way to quiet the bike down, and it actually did a heck of a job doing it. So thanks to the Cox brothers for suggesting that. You can actually get one that's even bigger than this. I think it's a lot more expensive, and mount it up. They do a better job mounting it on theirs, but this isn't too bad. I'll probably just paint that metal clamp or bracket I made black, and I'll turn it so it doesn't hit you in the leg when you walk by it. But anyhow, kind of cool, I think. Anyhow, maybe I should put one on this black one. Although the black, you know, the one thing about the stock carb and the stock exhaust, or stock airbox and stock carb, and I guess the stock exhaust on the Urban Express, is they are just ridiculously quiet. At an idle, this one is, you know, you can, it's just barely making any noise at all. So I guess that's one advantage of the stock carb and airbox combination. So real quick, I guess other things I need to do to this are probably new fuel line and add a fuel filter, which I should have done a while ago. And as a matter of fact, just about, yeah, every Urban Express I've ever, all three that I bought have come without a fuel filter, although there's probably some sort of screen in the petcock, but big deal. And there's actually a little fuel screen in that SHA clone carburetor. I didn't realize that till recently. So anyhow, I'll report back later with how the 33 grams and the Variator works. Maybe show you some of the process of painting this muffler. And if I paint it, then the question is, I probably don't want to hack and weld some other solution, but but I've got something else that I can use if I decide to swap out the exhaust. I guess what I'll first do is see how fast I can get it going with the stock exhaust. Right now we're at 32 miles an hour when I do get it to fully variate. So I guess the goal was 38, so we're 6 miles an hour away. But this is a nice bike. At some point someone, I think, changed at least the front tire. The rear tire is in pretty good shape. The rims are in pretty good shape. And there's really, this must have been kept indoors as opposed to the Iowa Express, which this actually came off the Iowa Express, this exhaust here. So that was typical of what you found on that Iowa Urban Express of mine. So anyhow, I think I've blabbered on for quite a while here, so I'll sign off. And hey, thanks for watching. Ride safe and stay dirty.